The Citizens Alliance Party on Thursday, January 14, 2021, held their second monthly press briefing to share information with the public and to state their position on some of the recent happenings the country is grappling with, particularly issues of national interest. Addressing the recent voter registration postponement by the Independent Electoral Commission, Dr. Ceesay challenges the IEC to make it clear what logistical reasons led to the indefinite postponement of this crucial process. The CA leader said his party did its own investigation, and this is what they found out.
The findings that we have, based on our investigations, are that the IEC wanted to single source the procurement process, the procurement for the materials needed for the elections. The IEC, as usual, 2011 and 2016, they did single sourcing to one company. And in 2021, they also want to do the same single sourcing, but the Ministry of Finance said no, it has to go through a tender process so we can give chance to other companies who have the capacity and the capability to also provide this material, so that's a fair process. And then a bidding process started, tender process. 4 companies tendered their bids. One is ESI, a Canadian company. The second is Damalog from Germany. We have Ekem from China. All these have international companies. And we have one Gambian-owned company called Smart Business Group, the Gambia. However, the first issue with regards to this whole scenario was that the IEC did not want or would not allow a joint venture. What does that mean? It means that a Gambian company who lacks the reference and the capacity to provide these materials would want to partner with a foreign company who has the experience and the capacity and the reference. But the IEC says no, no joint venture. It is either you come full and provide or you don't. So it means technically Gambian companies were removed from the entire process. However, one Gambian company, Smart Group, nonetheless, because they had already bought the documents, they tendered their bid. Now, the second thing was that the company the IEC wanted to give the contractor, which is ESI, based on our findings, we need some clarifications from the IEC and also from GPPA, because these things should be clear. We understand, we are not saying that is the case, but we understand that ESI was not the most qualified company. In fact, they are not the most financially responsive of all the companies that bidded. Third, that this same ESI was the same company that supplied IEC election materials in 2011 and 16 under a different company name called Code. And they went bankrupt and they changed their name to ESI. That should be very clear. They supplied the materials for elections in 2011 and 16, single source, their name was Code, went bankrupt, and now they are called ESI. Now, based on our findings also, IEC had a very bad experience with this company called Code. So the question is, why would we want to deal with the same company?
Dr. Ceesay also urged the Independent Electoral Commission to do things right, as errors like these could easily threaten the stability of the country.
What is important for us as a party and also as citizens is that elections are no jokes. They are life and death issues. They are about democracy. They are about security and peace and stability. Therefore, we must get it right. And our position is very clear, that we urge the IEC to make sure that whatever they do it right, and they look at the greater interest of the nation.
Sharing his thoughts on what many call the biggest drug seizure in the history of the Gambia, Dr. Ceesay said Gambia has become one of the biggest transits and storage points for drugs. While he admits that the issue of drugs has increasingly become a regional problem, it should be a cause for concern for the Gambia, considering how small the country is.
drugs. But for the Gambia, as small as it is, for us to be having this amount of drugs in our country is a serious cause for concern and has serious implications for the security of this country. Having tons of cocaine stored in the Gambia, waiting to be transited to its final destination, can attract criminal gangs into this country. It is also not good for the country because what it does is it wanes investor confidence. A country known to be a drug hub, serious investors want to go to those countries because those countries are unstable. Those countries are always unstable. The other thing also has to do with security. Like I said, and finally, our citizens are not safe because these drugs, like I tell you, are not to be consumed. Gambians cannot consume 3 tons of cocaine. We don't have the market in the country. So Gambia has now become a storage point because they cannot grow it here, but now it is going to be stored here. Now when it is stored here, it means it has to go somewhere. Who takes it there? They are going to rely on our young people who need money. Especially those in the diaspora who have the European passports and can travel, they'll use them to transport these drugs. And our young innocent people who are here frustrated with no job. So it is a very serious problem that we must take very seriously. And we, on our part, we urge the government to strongly empower the law enforcement agencies, especially the DLEG. They must be empowered because why? They need the necessary equipment and the technology to be able to trace, track, arrest, and prosecute these people who are involved in this kind of activities.
And like many other politicians and Gambians outraged about the drug scandal, Dr. Ceesay calls for an urgent investigation into the matter and bring whoever is found culpable before the law.
Our position is very clear. We urge strongly the government to really investigate this drugs issue and make sure the perpetrators are brought to justice and set a very good example. Because if we don't set good examples and let people go scot-free, that causes impunity. The transnational criminal gangs, you know now, Gambia has weak institutions. They are weak security institutions. It becomes a very easy target. That is what they are looking for. They are looking for countries with weak institutions. Look at the countries they target: Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Gambia. They know. They don't go to countries with strong institutions, with strong security infrastructure. They don't. They know this country is vulnerable. It's easy to buy your way in and out. These are the countries they target. In the process, they destroy our countries.
The presidential aspirant also touched on other issues like the recent maternal deaths in the country, urging government to invest more in the health sector. Saja Brito reporting.